Last month, I took a trip to the San Francisco Bay Area in order to attend a technical conference. And I arrived a day early in order to take what's called a hardware tour of the Juniper Networks Proof of Concept Lab. The Proof of Concept Lab maintained in multiple locations throughout the world, but this particular one was at the Juniper headquarters in Sunnyvale, California. Is there in order for customers to try out some of their expensive technology before they purchase it. Lots of times when purchases are made with Juniper, it's multiple millions of dollars worth of equipment. And in order for customers to feel comfortable doing so, Juniper has placed around the world proof of concept labs that are maintained by the pre-sales division of Juniper Networks. And so in Sunnyvale, on the first floor, building B of their campus, they maintain their proof of concept lab. And I was able to arrange a what's called a hardware tour, which is meaning that I'm not actually doing anything proof of concept. I'm just showing up to look around. And so I thought I'd record a video in order to share some of the photographs of the facility. It's pretty exciting for people in the network engineering field. Oops, wrong way. There's a canyon. Looking at the mural, what we're seeing is just a parking deck, but it was a pretty cool picture. My wife is into photography, and she thought this would be photogenic. The operating system that runs on Juniper equipment is called Junos. So they coined a term, apparently, Junivators. I've never heard the term before, but it was pretty cool. It was like a 4-story mural of real people who are working on Juniper Networks equipment. And the iconic sign, 1133 Innovation Way. This area of Silicon Valley is surrounded by many buildings of other technology companies. Initially, Juniper Networks got their buildings in this area, and they were the only ones. Nowadays, they're surrounded by just a wide number of other technology companies. I saw about 5 Google buildings. I think it was 2 Amazon buildings in this general vicinity. I don't know if people are familiar with Silicon Valley. There's the headquarters for Apple, the headquarters for Facebook, the headquarters for Google, the headquarters for Palo Alto Networks, the headquarters for Juniper, the headquarters for Cisco, the headquarters for Fortinet. The list goes on. There's my wife. This was exciting for me. It was actually a bucket list item to actually get inside there, and I decided to take the opportunity. So although this seems kind of geeky in order to take a picture of a name badge, I did so for myself. It was kind of one cool bit of technology because of California's rules concerning COVID. People need to be tracked, and Juniper acquired a company called Mist. Mist has the ability to perform. It's not tracking, because with Wi-Fi, the technology is not really good enough in order to track a person, in order to see whether or not they were able to spread the COVID virus. Contact tracing. It's not contact tracing. However, the Mist technology also can track BLE, or Bluetooth Low Energy. So they add a chip into their visitor badges that emit a BLE signal in order to do contact tracing. And with the Mist systems, they're able to provide compliance with the California regulations. There's the sign, first floor lobby headed into the proof of concept lab. And it's basically around this corner. I'll show you here in just a second. A few more pictures of the lobby. This is Building B's lobby. everyone was face masked. In California, the regulations are more strict. You also have to show your COVID vaccination record in order to gain entrance. The Juniper store I definitely rated. It doesn't show up very well, but I got myself a Juniper laptop bag and a Juniper jacket. I was a kid in the candy store at this place. And actually, this is someone who's who's emptying one of the bins for me. Been a good deal of money there. I like this picture because what this is inside the building looking out. Lots of people can get a picture on the outside looking in, but this picture is on the inside looking out, just showing how cool of a person I am. And there's me having a picture taken by my wife, who has undergraduate degree in photography. Did she touched it up afterwards. When you come into the area of the proof of concept labs, they have a couple of models of devices that are historical. This is the MX80 platform, which was their first one to abstract hardware from software to make the router more flexible. This is really what got Juniper Networks landed on the landscape of networking. Instead of having all the hardware being purpose-built, they ran it on a FreeBSD operating system that was abstracted from the hardware. And that made addition of additional features much more easy to apply. You just basically update the software, and then you have new features. That wasn't always the case back in those days. And here's one of their larger historical ones that started getting used by carriers as a lower cost, high throughput option for carrier networking. There's the proof of concept lab. It used to have these glasses covered in wraps that had marketing slogans. They've since taken those out, and now it's just clear glass in the lobby in front. Douglas Hanks books. I don't know if anyone is familiar with Douglas Hanks, but he's authored multiple Juniper books, and they're sitting on the coffee tables around here. On the coffee tables around there. But it turns out Douglas Hank no longer works for Juniper. He's moved a little bit further up the road towards San Francisco and now works as the director of engineering for Facebook. All of his books still are around, but he no longer works for Juniper. Wife was taking a picture. She was very impressed with the organization of the cables. Okay, so here's the heart of the proof of concept lab, and what you're seeing here is a management console. There's a desk and a management console. So when you need to find a piece of equipment and push a configuration to it, it's done from this area here. It's a large, 60-inch plasma TV with a keyboard and mouse and a computer hanging on the back of it. Typical hot and cold aisles. Let's see what we have here. A 360 view. So the aisles that have the doors closed in front of them are obviously the hot aisles, and then these are the cool aisles with the face of the equipment. One thing I was curious while I was here is the Juniper EX4400 Ethernet switch, which has just recently been released, whether or not they had it in the proof of concept lab. And my tour guide said they did just get one in. It actually takes a while because of the whole semiconductor shortage situation that's hitting Juniper pretty hard. So he was there trying to look up exactly where the 4400 was. They had two of them there. The 4400 is Juniper's new enterprise class edge or access switch. Is able to do MACsec AES 256 at line rate using an onboard chip. It also has what's called a telemetry chip, which outputs IP fix. There's the management station again. And here we're just looking at routers. And obviously, their cable management is second to none. I'd love to have a data center that has pretty cable management like that. And they actually had some 400 gigabit SFPs, which were pretty cool. I knew 100 gigabit was a thing. I did not know that 400 gigabit inside the PTX routers were able to be accommodated, but apparently now they are. Wife wanted this. She thought it was kind of like a iconic walk down the aisle video. This is me in front of the PTX routers, which are the new breed, thought to be the replacement for the MX at some point in the future. Right now, the MX router is a staple in carrier networking. But you could see them down here. Right there, my wife's pointing to the 400 gigabit modules. I explained to her what they were, and she was all excited. She wanted to get a selfie in order to put on social media. I think these are the 4400s. Let me see if I can zoom in. Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what those are. EX4400 is the replacement to the predecessor, which is the EX4300. 4300 is a good solid access layer switch. 44 just has the additional chips of the MACsec AES256 in order to perform that at line rate, and also the IP fixed telemetry. What those two are really designed for is the microsegmentation access layer that is becoming very commonplace in enterprise networking. People want to do microsegmentation at the access layer, and Juniper has developed a way of doing so at line rate, intuitively, easily with onboard chips in the access layer switches. There's one of the 100 gigabit SFPs that are in the EX4400. EX4400 has backplane in order to create a Ethernet switch stack. The EX4300 did so with 40 gigabit backplane cables. The EX4400 does it with 100 gigabit backplane cables. And there's 4 slots, so you can have a total of 800 gigabits of bidirectional backplane. There you have it. That's basically the end of my trip to Juniper. It was a highlight for me to be able to walk into the place and be able to see that such a important location in carrier networking and network engineering in general. For those who don't know, what actually happens in this location is Juniper Networks equipment is tried out by customers, and who these customers are the largest carriers on the planet. So what happens on the internet is often tried out here first, at least as far as networking goes. Juniper Network owns something like 75% of the planet's carrier network. And the customers that use Juniper Networks in order to push packets around the planet in order to make the internet work come to locations like this, and specifically this one here at the headquarters, in order to try out the new features that are running on the Juniper hardware.